Shalom, we out here once again giving all praises to
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakat Kodash.
So I mean, you know what I wanted to hit up? Did you hear about the news with Warren Buffett?
Nah.
So Warren Buffett, he sold another 980 million shares of Bank of America. He now holds 278 billion in cash, selling stocks like never before.
That lets you know something's going on. Because I remember years ago, he prided himself on his net worth. Like, if you checked his net worth, I think he only paid himself like $40,000 a year because all his money was in stocks. But you can't tax stocks until you take them out. So that goes to show you he's an insider and he knows something's about to go on.
Yeah, because the very thing that you took pride in, which was your stock and your net worth, now you're selling it for cash. So either you're diversifying your portfolio, you're shifting your interest towards another asset, or you got some insider information and you know something's about to go down. The stock market's about to crash.
I saw that video that you did on how like the stock market had like its worst. You know, the index has been the worst it's been ever. And that goes to that's also part of this, the interest rate being so unstable. But that also affects the stock market as well.
Yeah, and the Fed, now it's like they have no choice but to cut the interest rate. But they raised it because people was running it up during the time of 2020. And everybody was buying new things. Interest rates was fairly low compared to how they are today.
But it seems like they're only trying to cut it like 0.5%, like 0.5%.
What is that gonna do?
Yeah, what's that gonna do?
And then now it's like if you lower the interest rates, it's gonna cause inflation.
I don't see how a 0.5%. I remember I was watching this thing, it was like a news clip, and it was talking about the effects of it and how it could affect the mortgage rates. And it was talking about people could save like $130, $210, stuff like that on their like monthly, like their mortgage. And I'm like, that's like insignificant. That's barely any difference, a change of margin at all.
Or you can shop around for new home insurance. You can get a cheaper deal through that if you bank with this bank. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they try to throw you little peanuts, little so-called deals here and there, but it's like how much of it is a factor in your pockets. At the end of the day, people are still living paycheck to paycheck. If something comes up and you got an expensive bill you have to pay, it's going to set you back. Americans are having a hard time getting ahead, and some even staying afloat. You got a precept?
Yeah. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. I'll start at this 10th verse, point to the 11th verse. It says, when you forgive this man, I forgive him too. And when I forgive whatever needs to be forgiven, I do so with Yahweh Shai's authority for your benefit, so that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes.
Yeah, with his evil schemes. So we're not the ones to be taken advantage of. We understand what's going on in this world, and we see things before they happen. Really, I mean that's what it is. You know, now what we're looking forward to is the MOTV, because that's really what's next.
Like you're not like Babylon and the top wicked elite. You can't finesse us. We see everything you're trying to do. We see that all this things is orchestrated. It didn't just happen like a coincidence.
Let's sit on that.
Yeah.
All right. Get Habakkuk 2:6.
This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long to him that leadeth himself with laden himself with thick clay? Shall they not rise up suddenly, that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them?
Right, so in verse 6 of Habakkuk chapter 2, it speaks about thick clay. So when you go into the Hebrew for that word, it means advaya, which means debt. So if you think about it, this is a debt-based system that we live under. Everything you want to do as far as like getting housing, even cars, you have to take out a line of credit. You have to get a loan. So it's like if that's how the standard of living is for everybody here, then eventually that system is going to implode. Because we see how they print money, at a fast rate, and it decreases the value of the dollar. So combine those two elements, the printing of the dollar and inflation and the cost of living, it's going to make it hard for people to live. So it's like everything's coming full circle. Everything that Esau got, especially in America, he stole. And he continues to steal from the people every day. So his power, it's almost like it's like imploding on him. You know what I mean? Like his system and his schemes of how he stays rich, keeps getting richer and richer, it's finally starting to blow over. And the system is getting ready to collapse. So some would call it controlled demolition. Others would call it the works of the Most High. Because at the end of the day, like we said before, they're going to come out with the MOTB, Revelation 13 and 16. Because you have to tear down this system in order to bring in the new system, the new way of currency, digital.
In this society, you all heard it, cash is king, but that's not really the case. Credit is king. Because if you have good credit, that shows that you're able to pay off your debts.
Remember Jay-Z came out with his 444 album?
Yeah.
He started rapping about credit. He was like, yo, niggas don't want to hear this. What's he talking about?
What's more important than throwing money in the strip club? Credit. That was a good album. People sleep on it.
It was. I mean, niggas go out and get credit cards. But yeah, I gotta start building my debt. Jay-Z's on it. I mean, not yet. Yeah, you do gotta build your debt, because that's what a credit card is.
Yeah.
But what I really mean is building your credit score.
That's in Habakkuk.
Yep.
This is Psalms 64. I'm gonna start at the 5th verse. It says, they encourage themselves in evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? And the day is talking about Esau, the top wicked elite. It says, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And Esau, he's so blatant with his agenda now. It's like you can see it for what it is. Like it's right there. But it's like only the people that's in the know see it. Or because like it's like these people, they just go on their day to day like nothing's going on. Like there's not a whole war cracking off, and we're about to be in World War III.
Yeah, not only that, the election is what, 2 months out?
Yeah.
So that's going to be a pivotal moment.
That was it on that. This is Ephesians chapter 4. I'll start at the 14th verse. It says that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lay in wait to deceive. And that's exactly what Esau does. He just tries to deceive you. Even when I was younger, people would talk about the importance of credit, but when you really understand what it is, it's really just to put you in debt. Because if you need a credit card, that means you don't got the money, so you shouldn't be buying whatever it is you're trying to acquire. But how else are you going to get a house in this system without a credit?
Yeah, you don't have
$400,000
you don't have
cash.
$1 million until you have $2 million.
Right.
Because once you get that first million, it puts you in a different tax bracket. You're gonna tax the hell out of you.
Right. Because that saying I always hear, it's like if you can't buy it, if you can't afford to buy it twice, you can't afford it. Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb.
So this whole system, it has to go. It just has to go. If the scripture and the law verse speaks about God, that's what Esau is known for. That's one of the sins that he's committed, and he has profited off of. They call America a God-fearing country, a Christian nation. But how many principles of the scriptures do they follow? I mean, really think about that.
This is
In
good.
God we trust. Which God?
Right.
The God of Molech? Or the God of Baal? However you pronounce it right now? Baal, right?
This is Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 19. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury.
So usury is when you tack on interest on something. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to profit off of a loan. Back in the days when a brother needed something, y'all would trade, y'all would barter. Or you might be like, yo, I don't really expect this back. You could just have it, and that'll be your charity, and you'll get blessings for that. Or if you want to use more of a colloquial term, it'll be good karma, so you can understand. Because in the universe, there's a thing called law of average. Laws of average. Right?
This is Leviticus chapter.
So everything you do balances out. Or sometimes what you do, it's imbalanced. So it's like, put it like this. Esau, he has his world like unbalanced. Like everything is out of whack. So being that this world is tipping over, there's going to have to be a change of management so that everything can come back to balance. And that's where the Israelites come in, the people right here in the sign. Because the earth needs us, man. We got to take over. Because this ain't no way for us to live.
Right, you reap what you sow, and all Esau has sown is wickedness. That's why his economy is so unstable. That's why everything is going to shit here. This is Leviticus 25, verse 35. It says, and if thy brother be waxen poor and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him.
Yeah, and that goes into what I was saying before, how if you know somebody or brother or sister may need help, you know what I'm saying, you can help them. The scriptures say you're supposed to help them.
It says, yea, thou he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee.
Yeah, and that's if you have it. You know, some people don't really have much to give, but even still, like they'll find a way to help somebody else. That's how you know somebody has good character. You know, they have a good heart, and that's really how Jake is. Because if you notice, when Jake makes it out the hood, what do? They go back to the hood and they'll try to give back to the community.
Right.
But it's never really enough because they only focus on that one isolated area of where they're from. I forget which rapper, but I think it was recently where they gave back to one of their hoods in Atlanta or something like that. And I remember hearing the news of that sort. They just stated about how, man, in a way we all struggle. However, it's like it can never be enough what one Jake does that's made it. You know what I'm saying? We all gotta come up. We all gotta shine and look glorious. And it speaks about that in Isaiah chapter 60. How we're all gonna have wealth and status.
Though it be that's like a good work to go back and give money to the hood, but as long as these people still got to go back to the hood in these conditions that they live in, it's not going to change anything.
Exactly.
That's why we need the kingdom. That's it.
Get Psalms 82 and 5.
This is Psalms chapter 82, verse 5. It says, "They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. I have said..."
Wait. So all the foundations of the earth are out of course. So who's responsible for that? That's Esau. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's walking around in darkness, just trying to focus on how they're going to survive in this world. Because they say that this is a give or take world or a dog eat dog world. So you wonder why people are so selfish, why people are just focused on satisfying themselves and doing what makes them happy. Well, it's because of the state of the world that we're living in. It's out of balance. It's out of course.
This is Psalms 82 and 7. It says, "But ye shall die like..." No, Psalms 82 and 6. It says, "I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High."
Yeah, so that's plain and simple. You know, the Most High is the supreme king or ruler of the universe, right? He's the Most High. And then you have the ones that are under him, his demigods, you know, his little gods. So picture it like this: the Israelites are gods on this earth. They're like gods under the Most High.
This is Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1. It says, "Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee."
Where you at?
Isaiah 60.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
The second verse. It says, "For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people."
And gross darkness to people. You know, if you go around wherever neighborhood you at and ask them like about like if they know if they're Israelites, 9 times out of 10 they're not gonna know what you're talking about.
Say that again?
If you go around somewhere and you ask people, like random people, if they know about the Israelites and if they know that if they're Israelites, they're not even gonna know what you're talking about. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna be like, huh?
You think so? I feel like everybody heard this word. I bet if we asked a Jake that walks down the street, you know you're Israelite, they'll just say, yeah, because you heard of it. They don't know what it means, but
I get what you're saying.
They know.
It's like either you know or you don't know.
Yeah.
But majority of the time, people don't know.
especially 10 tribes. I'll give you that
Yeah,
for 10
that's
tribes.
what I'm saying.
So Isaiah 60 and 2 says, "For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people."
Gross darkness to people and darkness is over the earth.
It says, "But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee."
And the Lord is going to rise because he's going to be the one to uncover all the lies that's been dished out in this world. And it really starts with his prophets.
Says,
Because the prophets, they prophesy about the destruction of Babylon the Great and how the kingdom of heaven is going to be established on earth,
right.
which is going to be ruled by the Israelites, starting with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. You know how the Bible speaks about how the Messiah is king, Yahweh Shai is king. It says that for a reason. So when he comes back, he's going to be sitting on the throne. And then you're going to have kings under him as well. King number 2, king number 3, or king number 1.
There's going to be an order in the kingdom of heaven.
Exactly. We're all going to be glorious.
Again, it's Isaiah 60:2. It says, "For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and the kings of the brightness of thy rising." And the Gentiles is talking about Israelites that's in a Gentile state of mind, that don't know that they're Israelites.
Nah, it's talking about Esau. Edomites can make it out.
Yeah, Ishmael and
They just got to believe. Come on, man. Give me a break. They don't even deserve to make it. They're the reason why we're in this predicament to begin with.
They all had a hand in our captivity. So why would the Lord reward them? This is Isaiah 45.
You mean after 400 years of exploitation and oppression, they catch a break? They still get a break?
I mean, they do. They will get a break in the end.
Like,
You know,
be real.
they're not gonna go out like Esau, but they're gonna serve their captivity in the kingdom. Then they'll get some. Then we'll loosen the reins, loosen the
You
leash.
just have to accept the fact that this is your heaven. This is your kingdom.
Right.
This is your world. We're just living in it right now. So enjoy it. Embrace it. Because the time is going to come when the Most High takes it away from you. After that, get Psalm 75 and 5.
That's what I know. This is Psalms chapter 75, verse 5. It says, "Lift not up your horn on high, speak not with a stiff neck. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But the Most High is the judge. He putteth down one, and setteth up another."
So the Most High is the one who puts a nation into power. Who puts people into a position of power. So the Most High is the one who put us into this captivity and put Esau to rule over us. You know, get the scripture where it speaks about how deliver me from the wicked. Because that's one of the prayers that King David put up. Because right now we're in the hands of the wicked. I mean, that's just the reality. You got a social security number, then that lets you know that you're participating in this system to some degree. You know how you have the Moors out there where they be like, "Oh, I'm a Moor. I'm not a citizen. I'm just allowed to just be on this land." You know what I'm saying? You know those people when they get pulled over by the cops.
Thinking they got rights and shit.
I know.
This is Psalms chapter 71, verse 4. "Deliver me, O my power, out of the hand of the wicked, out of the hand of the unrighteous and cruel man. For thou art my hope, O Lord Yahweh. Thou art my trust from my youth. By thee have I been holden up from the womb. Thou art he that took me out of my mother's bowels. My praise shall be continually of thee."
So that's it. That's the point.
This is Psalms chapter 140, verse 1. It says, "Deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischief in their heart. Continually are they gathered together for war.
So who's a violent man? That's Esau, the Edomites.
It says they have sharpened their tongue like a serpent.
Sharpen their tongue like a serpent. How many treaties did they break with the Native Americans? Remember that movie, Killer of the Flower Girls? They gave the Native Americans some land, and then they found out a way to take it back. That's called being an Indian giver.
Yeah, then they'll call you an Indian. That's how Esau gets down though. He'll take the land that you had, send you to a reservation, then the reservation he sent you to, he finds out there's resources on it, now he wants it back.
There's oil, there's gold.
Yup.
I take that, I need that.
Need that back. That's how Esau get down.
I know. So if that's not the wicked that the Bible is speaking about, then I don't know who is.
Right.
Who is?
Psalms 140 verse 2 says, which imagine mischief in their heart continually are they gathered together for war. They have sharpened their tongues like a serpent, adders, poison is under their lips.
And they continuously gather for war. How many wars have been fought throughout American history? They say that all wars is wars that you profit off of. Well, who's profiting from it? Is it the elites that are behind the scenes? Or is it the people that rather go on the battlefield and lay their life down? Or lay their body down? Because you know how people come back, they might be missing a limb. Or they might have mental, psychological issues after war.
PTSD.
That's why they say that the enlistment into the military is at a low. It's low right now. And it's not helping that people see the writing on the wall for World War III. With Russia rising up and all these conflicts going on in the Middle East.
The threat of a war, is imminent now. So that's why people ain't signing up. They're like, this thing is really gonna happen.
Right.
It's not like they just, signing up for the reserves just to get that check. They're gonna have to back it up.
And it's not even worth it. Because the money that you was making, I guess, from enlisting in the military, it's not enough. And even the benefits, it's like you're gonna go to school, do the benefits, and then finish, and then maybe, just maybe, you'll come out and get a job with that degree that you got. I mean, it's a lot that you have to sacrifice and give up. And is it worth it in the end? It's not.
And anybody going to fight in the war, you're not coming back.
And that's what I just said is the low point. The worst part of it all is if you gotta actually go out and fight on the battlefield when it was never your intent to get violent. Because how some people just join for the check or for the benefits. Imagine you get called and you gotta go overseas to go fight some war that you never had any interest in fighting in to begin with.
That's like Chris Tucker and Dead Presidents. He's like, they're not fucking with me, I'm not fucking with them. That's really how it is. You going to fight a war that got nothing to do with you. You're gonna go to the war, and your demise, it's gonna be a sure thing. You're not gonna come back and reap the rewards after the war is over.
And we've seen it time again throughout history. Veterans come back to America, and they're not really treated with respect and dignity.
Got nothing to show for it. Living on the streets.
Yeah. They got nothing to show for except their trauma and their pain.
And a missing leg. This is Psalms 140.
And what do they do? They go over there to follow money overseas to other countries. Not even helping the people on the soil. The people that were actually born here. I mean, you see all the incentives that they got for the people crossing the border?
Yeah.
They can go to California and get a loan for a house. They get grant money for a house. Like, that's absurd. But are they doing that for black Americans who never got reparations? Are they doing that?
Exactly. It goes to show you there's an agenda behind it.
And we're not even so sure what the agenda is, you know what I mean? Because there's like so many different ways you can go with that, that scheme. But we're gonna find out sooner or later why they're doing what they're doing. Why the borders are open, right?
Alright. This is the last verse.
So many speculations.
There's a Psalm 140 and 4. Salakia 140, yeah, 4, 144. It says, keep me, O Lord, from the hands of the wicked. Preserve me from the violent man who have proposed to overthrow my goings.
Violent man is Esau.
It says, the proud have hid a snare for me, and cords.
The proud has hit a snare. So the proud is Esau because he has so much pride on him. You know, if you ask him, he might not even be able to fathom losing his power. That's why he's trying so hard to keep it. Why do you think he doesn't give a damn about the average people out here in this world? He just comes up with plans and take more and more money. We can give him everything and they're still gonna want more from us.
Yeah.
Why do you think he got you paying taxes? Why do you think he got you paying rent that's sky high? High interest rates, mortgage.
50% of your earnings goes to just your living, where you live.
Yeah.
You ain't got no money to spend leisurely.
Water is something that's made from the heavens, right? Most High and Yahweh Shai made it. But he found out a way to profit off of it. He'll bottle it up and sell it to you.
In plastic.
You know, I always wondered, like, yo, why is there not, like, wells in neighborhoods or communities, water wells or water fountains? You know, back in the day, that's what it also used to be. They didn't have bottled water, right?
Yeah. Take your bucket down to the well, fill it up.
They had water bottles, not water bottles. They had water wells or water fountains. You would know where the nearest fountain is, and you fill it up. You carry like a container.
A well can be created. You just gotta dig further enough into the ground, and then water will flow into the well.
Exactly, but on the contrary, you got to be careful with that because the environment can be polluted. So therefore, the water from the well, it may not be the best type of water that you could drink. You know what I'm saying?
You couldn't even do that now if you wanted to. Esau will write your ass up on a citation.
Yep.
That's the thing, though. They don't want you being self-sustaining. That's why, like I was meditating on this. Property taxes, like just how wicked it is. Imagine, all right, you're young, you grow old, you pay off your house, you no longer have to worry about that. But you can't live off the land and just, you know, not work, not have to worry about making money. You're just living off your land. You grow your own food, you got your own water. Esau doesn't want that. He wants to have you continuing to pay property taxes. So if you don't pay your property taxes, all that you worked for and all that you build up for yourself, he gets to take it away and sell it to somebody else. That's wicked. But again, that's why we need a savior. We get no rest here dealing with Esau.
Yeah, and then let's say you do pay off your mortgage. You still got to pay the property taxes. And let's say you're the owner and you pass away, and then you got to pass the house down to your children if you even have children. And then they're the ones who got to bear the responsibility of paying the property tax. And there might be 3 of them, and they're like, nah, we don't want to have to deal with paying these taxes, and then we got to split the money, you know, between all the 3 of us or the 4 of us. You know what I'm saying? That's when they just say, you know what? Let's just cash out. Let's sell the house.
Right.
And then guess what? Who wins at the end?
Esau.
The banks.
Yo.
So it's like a cycle, a never-ending cycle.
It's like they made their money back twice over. You know, the kids, they just gonna sell it for whatever you give them, really.
And if you think about it, life has gotten harder and harder throughout the decades. Things have gotten more and more expensive. So it's not really set up for people to be well off in their future. It's not. Why do you think they talk about Social Security being a thing of the past by 2035? It's going to be no more. Why do you think they talk about that stuff? It's because they know that this system is getting ready to implode. It's getting ready to collapse on itself.
Yeah, that also goes to show you the downfall of Esau and the system. Because in like the 40s, 50s, 60s, You could have a regular job.
Yeah, you could have a factory job,
Exactly.
and you'll be pretty solid.
Have a family. You have 2, 3 kids and a wife. White picket fence, 2 cars, and you was living with just one job. Your wife didn't work.
Yeah, and yeah, the wife would be able to stay home and take care of the children. But
That's unheard of now.
nowadays, you need that dual income because if you just have one source of income for the household, you got kids, money's gonna be tight, depending on how much you make.
Because back in those days, say like GM was responsible for 45 to 50% of the market share. Now, it's only 17%.
Really?
Yeah, so that goes to show you the downfall of the system. Ain't nothing made here anymore.
And then look at Ford.
Ford as well.
Yeah. Ford actually used to pay his workers a livable wage. How many companies out there pay their employees a livable wage? Why do you think people gotta go out and get 2 jobs? Some people even have 3.
They say Harrison Ford, he said that, but not he said, but people, like, they attended his funeral. That's how much they liked him. Like, just random employees was attending his funeral.
So this country is going down, man, little by little throughout the decades, and especially throughout over wars. As a matter of fact, get Isaiah 2:2.
This is Isaiah chapter 2. I'll start the first verse. It says, the word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it.
So that's speaking about when the Israelites take over the world, right? And how all the nations are gonna have to be under the authority of the Israelites. Read it again.
Isaiah 2:2, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountains of the Lord's houses, of the Lord.
Mountains represent government,
Right.
rulership, leadership.
And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the Most High God of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord Yahweh from Jerusalem.
So believe it or not, every single person that's going to be left over on the earth after Yahweh Shai makes his return is going to have to be under the authority and rulership of the Israelites. And you know how the Bible dictates the way that we live, our lifestyle. It's going to be the same thing for the other nations. They're going to have to follow the ways of the law, which is our way. So you're not going to see any more war and destruction of the environment once we take over.
Right. So Isaiah 2:4 says, and he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people. And
Judge among the nations and rebuke many people. So when Yahweh Shai comes back, it's not going to be a scenario where you're going to have other world powers that are in the picture. No, it's going to be one authority, one rulership.
Ishmael isn't going to be praying to Allah in those days. He's going to be put to death. It says that, and he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
Yeah, neither shall they learn war anymore. So you want world peace, you're gonna have to wait for Yahweh Shah to come back. That's just the bottom line. You got a precept?
I'll start the first verse. This is Obadiah chapter 1, verse 1. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised.
Thou art greatly despised. And if you notice, you have different factions of Esau, different world powers. You have NATO, the EU, and you also have BRICS, the new guys on the scene. And you have many nations that are trying to join BRICS, and they're trying to deviate from the traditional way of League of Nations. You know what I'm saying? So they think that BRICS is more beneficial. You know, I hear how they're coming out with their own system of currency and trade. They're trying to get away from trading with the dollar, because for years the dollar was used as a weapon against nations. If a country didn't abide by the rules of America, then they would do what?
Say that again.
If a country didn't abide by the rules of America, what would they do?
Put tariffs and shit on them.
Yeah. Tariffs, restrictions, embargo, you name it. So now it's like these nations they've had enough. They're like, you know what? We're gonna come up with a new way of I guess you could say dealing with country to country. You know what I'm saying? They really think that it's gonna be another new world power with China leading it. That's what they really think, China or Russia leading it.
Again, though, that also makes a point on how Esau and his system is failing. His grip isn't as tight as it used to be. You know, nations are starting to rise up against America because they look weak. Especially if you have a woman that's head of the free world, super weak. Nobody's gonna have respect for America.
Yeah, so this place is finished no matter what. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
So Obadiah 1 and 2 says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
The cliffs of the rock. And that speaks about Esau. Because if you ever go on Google and look up Mount Petra, you'll see how the way that the mountains are sculpted looks very similar to the White House. The architecture looks similar to the White House. And the Edomites were the ones that were living in Mount Petra. They was the original cavemen.
Right.
Really.
Read it again, last verse. Obadiah 1 and 3. It says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that's the pride of Esau. He thinks he's going to rule forever. He can't see anybody coming to bring him down. Little does he know, it's Yahweh Shai that's going to come bring him down. You can't do nothing about it because it's prophecy. That's it.
Now, I'll say this. If if you ever looked at the canyons of Utah, it kind of reminds you of like the Middle East over there, Mount Petra. So it's like you understand why America is also known as the land of Edom in the Bible. You know, that's one of the code words for America, the land of Edom.
This is Jeremiah 51:6. I'm going to read it in the NLT. It says, "Flee from Babylon. Save yourselves. Don't get trapped in her punishment. It is the Lord's time for vengeance. He will repay her in full." Babylon has been a gold cup in the Lord's hand, a cup that made the whole earth drunk. The nations drank Babylon's wine, and it drove them all mad.
Right, and the wine is a representation of philosophies and ways of life. So countries have looking up to America, you know, from the standpoint of how they govern, because you know how you have the two-party system, you have democracy. Countries have also adapted to the ways of the alphabet agenda. You know, they even incentivize countries to get down with that agenda. And if countries try to stay away from that agenda, I'll say it like that, then they get penalized. You know how you have countries in Africa that are against that, but yet you have the Democrats going over there, or in the past Obama coming up with ways for them to get down with their agenda and what they're trying to push. And also, I was thinking about this, how Haiti is so rich in resources, yet it's just a poor country. It's the poorest country in the southern hemisphere. And the reason why is because they were shut away from the world economy because they overthrew Esau, they overthrew the French. They were the only they was the only country to do that and be successful. So the result of that was them not being able to be participants in the world economy. So that's why you've always had Esau going up into that land, robbing them of their resources or destabilizing the country.
And even like Haiti's, government system is corrupt.
You know? And that's driving those people insane. You know?
That's why there's so much rebellion going on. You heard about all kind of horror stories going on in Haiti about like militias and people rising up.
And that's just one country. We can go on and on with the others. So Esau is the damn devil.
There's Jeremiah 51:7 in the NLT. It says, "Babylon has been a gold cup in the Lord's hand, a cup that made the whole earth drunk. The nations drank Babylon's wine, and it drove them all mad. But suddenly, Babylon too has fallen. Weep for her, give her medicine, perhaps she can yet be healed. We would have helped her if we could, but
If you could, but it's not gonna happen.
says, but nothing can save her now."
Nothing. Because this place is like a ravaged disease.
For cancer among the whole earth. Says, but nothing can save her now. Let her go. Abandon her. Return now to your own land, for her punishment reaches to the heavens. It is so great it cannot be measured.
And you know what? You got so many people trying to cross over to this land, the land of opportunity. They think that the streets is paved in gold. You can be whatever you want to be here. You can make it. But they're going to find out that they was better off staying where they was at. Because they don't even realize that they're going to die here. America or Babylon is like a sacrifice that's going to be like laid out on the altar. And guess you could say it like that.
That was it on that. Let's go to Isaiah. Let's start the third verse. It's Isaiah 19:3. I'll read it fast. It says, the Egyptians will lose heart, and I will confuse their plans. They will plead with their idols for wisdom and call on spirits, mediums, and those who consult the spirits of the dead. And this is in the NLT, if I didn't say that.
Yeah, those that consult the spirits of the dead, which is called necromancy.
Witchcraft.
Witchcraft, which
Sorcery.
which
all that.
this place is known for.
It says, I will hand Egypt over to a hard, cruel master. A fierce king will rule them, says the Lord.
And that's spiritually America. Egypt, look at the back of the dollar.
Says
God,
that-
and God we trust. I know it's not the God of Israel. I know it's not. Who is it the God of?
Molech, and you name it. Because this place, it has all the same things that was going on in ancient Egypt you have in America. That's why the Lord said there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, like the God of Horus. You had the ancient Egyptians worshiping them back then, worshiping those various gods. And it's like that now, but just to different degrees. They changed the names of the gods over time.
And that even proves even more that reincarnation is real. You have a civilization throughout time. The people, they die, but they come back in that same spirit, living out the same lot that they lived through all their other lives. So that's why nothing changes. Everything is still the same.
That's why we don't celebrate birthdays, because that goes back to pagan idol worship.
Christmas, all that stuff. It's, Isaiah 19:4. It says, I will hand, in the NLT, it says, I will hand Egypt over to a hard, cruel master. A fierce king will rule them, says the Lord of heaven's armies. The waters of the Nile will fail to rise and flood the fields. The riverbed will be parched and dry. The canals of the Nile will dry up, and the streams of Egypt will stink with rotting reeds and rushes.
Keep in mind, this is speaking about America. So, in a way, you could say that America is like the spiritual Middle East. You know what I'm saying? Like that geographical region. You could also say that perhaps maybe a state like New York is like spiritual New Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. The Harlem Renaissance came up out of Harlem, New York. The truth came out of Harlem One West. You know, the whole Israelite movement came out of New York, really, right?
Isaiah 19:7.
And I also said earlier how I was thinking about the fact that you have canyons and mountains that are eerily similar to Mount Petra in America. Look at the Grand Canyon. You ever seen Utah? You know,
Yeah.
people like to go hiking around in those areas, which is dangerous, but you know people do it. And guess who's doing it? Esau.
Of course.
He's going hiking. Did you hear about that story of that dude that though he found like a famous hole in a rock, and then he wanted to explore the canal because he thought that he could be able to make it all the way through to the other end. He found out it wasn't that famous canal. It was something different, and he ended up dying in that canal. He couldn't escape. He was trapped in there. They tried to rescue him, but they couldn't. Needless to say, he wasn't a Jake.
Right.
Cause Jake ain't gonna do that. You know how Jake. You know how Jake. He don't like heights. He doesn't like being trapped in tight spaces. Claustrophobia.
Bro. That's Esau's MO right there.
But shit, that's what they give you. That's your jail cell when they give you. When they send you somewhere to make 5 cents an hour.
Since you said that, it's Genesis 25 and 27.
They give you that tight ass jail cell with one toilet, one sink, and they give you a roommate.
You say that toilet. That's that you go to use the bathroom there, and that's your refrigerator.
They give you a celly.
That's crazy.
So even like in like the forms of so-called rehabilitation or punishment, they find a way to profit off of that and make it hard. Make it hard for you. So you gotta be over there eating bullshit food, eating food that's bad for your health, making you gain weight. Then on top of that, they're exploiting, making money off your pain. Because you gotta pay for all that commissary stuff. They making money off that.
Bullshit, honey buns.
They making money off the license plates you gotta produce from there.
Making money on the jail calls.
Yeah, that's part of the stock trade. Is our prisons. People profit off of prisons. So why you think they gave you music that influenced you in a negative way, that would lead to you being behind bars? What do you think they destabilized the family structure? They also put drugs in people's communities. So you can go on and on with all the
¿Sabes cuál es el problema?
trickery and traps that Esau has laid out throughout history. And it's mainly towards our people, the people right here on this side. And then it's just like now Esau, the Edomites, his fellow brethren, they're the ones getting caught up in it too. Because you know how you got the new thing now with them being the people over there that are being hooked on drugs and stuff like that. You have this place called Kensington,
Oh god.
which is like zombie land.
Land of the Walking Dead.
Right.
That shit's so bad. I seen the video of this dude and the drugs is like eating his flesh. His hands look like mummy hands. I was like, talk about a demon.
So the very trap that they laid out for us to fall in, his own people are falling into it as well. And why is that? It's because people are having a hard time coping with reality.
Because it's just constantly oppression. It's like you
He even oppresses his own kind, his own people.
know,
You know how when Jake, like in the world, they make it to a certain level, a certain status, they might become like a millionaire or the supervisor or CEO of a company, and they're like, you know what? You got to start diversifying. You got to start getting some more brothers on the wall. Get some brothers on the wall. I mean, take a look at what Cam and Mason's doing. They doing their own thing with their sports media, and they hiring their own kind. They hiring blacks. They're doing things their way.
thing is though, Jake, no matter how rich you get, you don't really have the power to oppress anybody. You're not creating legislation.
You're not the one printing the money.
Esau's creating whole legislation to keep people under his thumb. You don't have that power, Jake.
Yeah,
The only people you're gonna be oppressing is your own people.
that's what it comes down to is power. You don't have that. And that's what the difference is between bigotry and being a racist.
This is back to Isaiah 19:7. It says in the NLT. It says all the greenery along the riverbank and all the crops along the river will dry up and blow away. The fishermen will lament for lack of work. Those who cast hooks into the Nile will groan, and those who use nets will lose heart. There will be no flax for the harvesters, no thread for the weavers. They will be in despair, and all the workers will be sick at heart. What fools are the officials of Zoan? Their best counsel to the king of Egypt is stupid and wrong. Would they still boast to Pharaoh of their wisdom? Would they dare brag about all their wise ancestors?
They want to boast to Pharaoh about their wisdom.
Meanwhile, this whole civilization is collapsing. And that's how it is here. I was reading this article, and pull it up real quick. Still got it in the queue.
They think that because they got their college degree, it puts them at a certain status. They think that they're one step closer to being an elitist. They'll never let you get there, no matter how hard you try. You gotta realize, this is a rat race that people are running. I mean, that's the whole point of this system. It's really not designed for you to make it to the top.
You just got the haves and the have-nots.
Exactly.
This is in the New York Times. The headline is U.S. jobs report shows hiring has shifted into low gear. It says ahead of a key Federal Reserve meeting to set interest rates, employers added 142,000 jobs in August, fewer than economists had expected, and previous months were revised downward.
And they try to combat that and say that, we've actually had a growth of jobs, when really those numbers are skewed. Take a look around. Are people doing good? Is the economy doing well? It's not. Just go to the grocery store. You'll see the increase in prices.
But they don't go into it.
And you'll see the increase of part-time jobs. It's harder, more difficult to get a full-time job now.
That's what it is. They tell you more jobs, but it's part-time jobs. You got people working 2 part-time jobs instead of 1 full-time job.
And then it's a job that's paying you peanuts on top of that.
It's nothing that you're gonna establish yourself with. You're just gonna be able to pay your little bills, and that's really it. You're not gonna have no leisure money. But again, this is good news.
Yeah. Finish that, and then we're gonna close.
Nah, that was the point. That was it.
Okay. You got a precept?
Sure.
Take us out right.
Let's go here. I'm reading the GNT. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16. I'm gonna start at the 44th verse in the Good News translation. Actually, I'll start at the 41st verse. It says, merchants must not expect to make profit from what they sell. Yeah, right, start up above that. This is the 40th verse. It says, listen to my message, my people, and get ready for the battle. When the disaster comes, you must live as people whose home is not in this world. Merchants must not expect to make profit from what they sell. They must be ready to run for their lives. Their customers must expect to lose whatever they buy. Whoever builds a house should not plan to live in it.
So that's a scenario of dystopia, also known as Jacob's trouble. That's mentioned in the Bible.
It says farmers should not expect to harvest their crops or pick their grapes. Those who marry must not expect to have children, and those who don't marry must live as if they had been widowed.
Yeah, so it's really like you're better off being single nowadays. Just worry about yourself.
That's a man.
Because you don't want to have any attachments when this place goes down. Because think about it, you got your family, you got kids, you got to worry about them. You can't just be selfish about yourself, right? That's why a lot of jakes out there, they're going to cop out and take the car, take the MLTV.
Oh.
They're gonna die with their family. They're like, you know what, I don't want to see this happen. I'm just gonna go out with y'all.
Again, that's Esau's devices working on you.
That's why Yahweh Shai said that he who loves his family more than he loves him, the Savior,
Can't be one of mine.
Yeah, he can't be one of the chosen. He can't be one of the elect. Roughly paraphrasing.
Again, though, that's Esau's
So
devices.
really, you gotta be a soldier out here. You just gotta focus on yourself, man. That's what it comes down to. But I mean, you could diversify and crossovers to women if you want. But just understand how that dynamic works.
The 45th verse, it says, anything that is done will be useless. Foreigners will harvest the crops, seize the wealth, tear down the houses and carry off the children as slaves. Anyone who has children will be bringing them up to be slaves or to die of starvation. Anyone who makes money will do so only to see it violently taken away. The more possessions people gather, the more they spend on their cities and houses. The more attention they give to their personal appearance, the more angry the Lord will become with them because of their sin. This is what the Lord says.
So that's plain and simple.
Right there, right there.
With that, shalom, peace.
Shalom.
Peace to the gods.